Okay, so I have created this structure, so it's the same as this one, but I don't want to do it in the right place because I want you to understand how to do it, and then we can do it in the right place. So we have here this module, 4 columns, 4 beams, and now we need a roof that is like this drawing. Okay, so it's a pyramid, and the pyramid has like a place for skylights. If we look at the building, this is the British Art Gallery in Yale. And if we look at roof details, okay, so this is a picture looking from the lobby, and then we see the skylights, we see the pyramids and the skylights. And if we look at the roof, yeah, so this is the roof. Okay, so you see that we have a lot of modules like this with 4 skylights each. It's made of different pyramids. And this is a view from inside. Okay, so look at this. This is the pyramids. The pyramids are resting on these columns, on the columns here. And then here we have the skylights. I would like to see a detail of the construction. But I can't find it. Okay, there are, I will post it there because there are spectacular pictures of how, because those are prefabricated elements, they are manufactured, those pyramids, they are manufactured in a workshop, and then with a crane, they are placed there in the, okay, so it's kind of scary, but this is how they did it. In Revit, I mean, we can do it in different ways, but this is the goal, okay? So the goal is that we have a roof, it's a pyramid, we have a skylight, and this is like exposed concrete. Well, we are going to add better quality to this detail. So we will try to provide this pyramid with thermal insulation. So in the original state, probably it doesn't have the thermal insulation. It's a prefabricated concrete wall, and it's placed there, and that's it. I told you that this was made in the, so that's a picture of, again, looking from below. And this is what it looks like. Okay, so let's do this. And so we need, it's an element, it's not a straight element, it's resting on columns. And so basically it's what we have in that building, in that drawing. We have that shape. So we're going to do it in a different way. We're going to use a component model in place, and then we are going to use extrusion, and then we will subtract, or we are going to use the component model in place, but the option of sweep. So we will sweep, or we will create a shape, and then we will rotate that shape with a path, and then we will create that option. So there are 2 different ways to do that. So let's try both, and then you can decide the one that you like the most. Okay, but first we need to know where we are. So we are in this level 15. I'm going to create another, I could create an auxiliary grid line, but I'm going to use a reference plane. Okay, so I'm going to use a reference plane, and I'm going to place this reference plane here in the middle of this line, and I'm going to name this like a roof midpoint or whatever, but just a name that we can remember. So first, I'm going to use this option, component model in place. Then you have to use roofs. Okay, because this is a roof, and we're going to use, we could use revolve again. Well, we will try revolve too, but first we're going to try sweep, then extrusion, and finally we will try revolve to see if we can get the same thing using three different options here, three different modeling options. So far, we are going to use sweep, but don't do it again because first we have to do the shape, and then we will use the sweep to create the solid volume around a path. Okay. So if we have created this reference plane, we have to look at it from elevation that is parallel to this reference plane. So it can be either the north or the south elevation according to this. So I'm going to open the south elevation, and on the south elevation, I find the columns, the beams, and now I'm going to create the shape. What's the height? Well, the height, it doesn't matter here. Okay, so it goes from 64 to 76. So this is 22? No, 12. 12 feet from 64 to 76. So the height of this pyramid is like 12 feet. And here we have 15 to 27, which is 12 feet. Okay, so no, I think actually that's wrong. And the height of the pyramid is that level. Okay. Okay, no problem. Anyway, we are going to try any height. This is not accurate. When we are working in the right place in the roof, then we will make sure that we have the right height. But just we're going to try this with any dimensions, and then we will know the command. I have to go to model line, and I'm going to create a model line. This is the shape that I'm going to work with. And it has to be in this reference plane in roof mid. This is the plane that I have created. Okay. And well, the dimensions are like this. We have 1 foot here, 1 foot there. I don't know the height. And I don't know the angle. This is something that we have to find out, this angle and this total height. Let's do this 30 degrees, and then let's do this height like, I don't know, 6 feet. 6 feet. Yes, I don't know if these are the right dimensions, but this is what we're going to try now just for. So it's important because I'm going to draw something and then I'm going to copy it different times. So the reference point for copying things, it's going to be the axis, the vertical grid line. Okay, so I have to start this shape from this point. So I go 1 foot up, 1 foot in this direction. And then if that angle is 30, that means that this angle has to be 60. So we go 60 like this. And if we want to make sure that this height is 6 feet, I do this auxiliary line here with 6. And then I go this way. Okay, now I can delete this one. I can create this chamfer. There you go. And now here we have 1 foot. One 1 foot down. And well, here we have to start here now, 1 foot in this direction. And then we go all the way up, make sure that it's parallel. And then when we have this point, we go this way. Okay, so that's the shape that we have here. It's the same shape that we have in this drawing. Okay, so once we have this shape, we can go to the 3D view, and we have that shape on this reference plane. So what we are going to do now is to sweep this shape. And we need to find a path, and the path is, well, they are the beams. So we have to select the beams to create the path, and then we have to select that shape to sweep the shape around this path. Okay, I'm going to do it because I think it's easier doing it than explaining it. Component, model in place, roof. Here. Okay, so we're going to try this option, solid sweep. And first, we have to pick the path. So the path is this, and this. Okay, so when we pick the path, you see that this square appears, and this is the point. We need to select then the shape, and then with this point, we will move that shape around these big lines, and then we will have this solid, I hope. Okay, so once we have selected the path, and again, it has to be closed. If it's not a closed loop, it won't work. So I think they are all, it's a closed loop, so we can do this. And now we have to select the profile. So the path is the direction, and then I have to select the profile, which is the shape. So let's select profile, and if we select profile, we can edit profile. Okay, if we edit profile, we can select the lines that we have created here. There is always a problem with this, so I'm going to draw this line because I can select the green line. So I'm going to draw it, and then I can keep selecting these two lines. There is an issue here because we have this dashed line, this axis. So if we select this, it doesn't work. So it has to be something, again, a closed loop. Okay, without a closed loop, it doesn't work. So once we have selected the path and we have selected the sketch, we click OK. And we click OK here. Oh. There you go. Isn't it amazing? Okay. So this is the pyramid. Do you get it? Have you done it? Okay. Now I'm going to do it again with a different option. Okay. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to copy these two grid lines. Here. So I want, and I'm going to delete the roof. So I'm going to do the same here. I will use the same shape, but now I will use a different option. Okay, so what I want to do is to create the same roof with this same shape, but now we're going to use component model in place, extrusion, and then we're going to subtract things. Okay, so I think the sweep it's better, but well, that option it works too. So let's do it again. Architecture, component, model in place, then we select roof, and we select extrusion. Okay, and we select extrusion, and we have to select the same shape. We are going to what? Okay, I'm going to cancel this. Yes, and I'm going to start again. Architecture, component, model in place, roof. No, roof, no. Roof. And extrusion. Probably I have to set the work plane. Yeah, it's on level 15. Doesn't make sense. The work plane has to be this roof mid. So I didn't do it before. Okay, so we have to select the plane in which that shape is. And now we can select that shape, and now it works. Okay. So now we have selected this shape. I click OK. And as you can see, now I can drag this element like this. But this is not what I want, because I want this pyramid. So if I want this pyramid, what I'm going to do is to create 4 different elements, and then I'm going to rotate those elements in 4 different directions. But to do this, I need to subtract the part of these pyramids that it's not useful. If we go to level 15, this is the shape that we have here. Or let's do it from the 3D view. Yeah, I think it's better. Okay, if we do it from the 3D view, this pyramid works if we have 4 elements, but I need here to subtract this with a 45-degree angle. If we look at the plan, so the pyramid is something like that. Okay. So now I have an extrusion, I have an element that is like this. Okay, so what do I have to do? I have to subtract this and this. So by subtracting this triangle and this triangle, I will have the right shape. This is the shape that I want. And then by rotating that shape, we will have the whole pyramid. Okay, so let's do it. How can I subtract this? Well, Revit is not great at doing these things. Other software are better at working with these kind of solids and subtractions and additions. Revit is quite complicated, but well, it works. So first we have to select the shape. Okay. Then we have to edit that shape in place. So select it again. And now we have to create a void. And we are going to create a void by extrusion. Okay. And now I have to set the work plane. So the work plane is the roof mid. Create now like level 15, for example. And now I'm going to, because this is a 45-degree angle. So if I create this shape and then I finish this, okay. Now I click here and on the 3D view, you see that we have a void here. So we have the solid and we have the void. Okay, so the void has this color. I have to select the void and I have to make the void bigger or larger than this element, because we're going to subtract this. So if I click OK, it should work. Let's see. Okay, it works. And now you see that I have cut this with an angle of 45 degrees. Don't panic, I'm doing it again. But it's very important because if you create a void, we can be careful, because that happens. It has happened to me many times, and I gotten frustrated, and I have cursed against Revit and all the developers and all that. But it's because I did wrong. I did it wrong. So if you don't select this, and you can go to architecture component, model in place, select I don't know, the roof again. And let's work from the top view. And you see that here I can create a void form. So I thought I was young and unaware, and I thought that if I created a void form, then I can subtract this directly, but it doesn't work. So I create the void form by extrusion. I set the work plane on level 15, and I do exactly the same. I'm going to create that triangle with 45 degrees. And then this, and now I'm going to do that. I click finish. I do have a void here. Okay, so then I select this, I make it larger, and then I finish the model. And some void forms do not cut anything, so do not cut anything and will be deleted. Okay, so it doesn't work. And I have done the same, but I have done the same without selecting that shape first. Okay, so Revit has to understand, if you create a void, you have to cut something. So you have to let Revit know what you want to cut. Because if you don't do that, it doesn't work. Okay, so that doesn't work. So I'm going to do it right now. First, select this, edit in place, then select it again. And now that we select it again, you see that we have the void here, but now I want to create another void form, void by extrusion. And I'm going to draw the same thing here from the intersection of two grid lines, 45 degrees. And now this. So now I select the void, I make it larger. So I make sure that all this shape is included in the void, and then I finish the model and it works. Okay. So now that I have the right shape, I can, what can I do? I can mirror. If you select this and create a mirror with axis, so select this midpoint, and we mirror that. And now I want the other sides. So with this one, I can create a mirror with an axis following 45 degrees. So let's do it again, a mirror. And now I select this axis. Well, this can be either 45 degrees or 135. If I do this, I have this shape, and then I mirror again. Mirror, and now I can select this midpoint. There you go. Okay, so I have the same object, but this is just one solid object, and here I have four solid objects. In this case, the suite works better than the extrusion, but there are other elements that we have to do with extrusion and void instead of the suite. Okay, so it's good that you know how to do it both, because well, yeah, because you might need either way, so it's good that we can do this. So I told you that there was a third option with revolve. So let's try the revolve option too. So I'm going to copy what I'm going to copy. Then I'm going to copy this and the grid lines. Here, and I have a third module here. I delete all this, and okay, I didn't copy the shape. Why? Because okay, I'm going to do it from the 3D view because I copied everything from the level 15, but this copy. So I have the shape here. So we have used extrusion and then the voids. We have used the sweep option, and I'm going to use revolve. So revolve means that I am going to rotate this or move this about the axis that is in the middle. Okay, so with the sweep option, I have to select the shape and then the path. Here, I have to select the shape and the axis of the rotation. So I'm going to rotate this about the axis. Okay, so again, I'm going to do it and see what happens. So if I go to architecture, modeling place, roof, revolve, and first I need the axis line. Okay, so for the axis line, I need a reference because I need this vertical axis that it's in the middle of that square. Okay, so before doing this option, I'm going to build that line because otherwise it will be difficult to do it. So if I'm on level 15, and if I work model line, I'm going to create a diagonal from this point to that point and another diagonal here. Okay, so this is the point. There is a vertical line on this point at this intersection. So I have to create a vertical line like that. So how can I do it? We have this point, but this vertical line is on this reference plane. Okay, so remember that this reference plane, it's there, so I can extend it. So this reference plane, so the intersection between these two lines, it's on that reference plane. So I have to go to the 3D view. I have to draw model line. It's there, but you see what happens here. I can create a. Okay, so that doesn't work. In architecture, before doing the model line, I have to set the work plane on this roof mid. And now if I draw a line, that line will be vertical. Okay. So that's with Revit. I'm teaching Rhino to our students now, and these geometrical operations with Rhino are much easier. With Revit, it's more complicated, but on the other hand, Revit has a lot of advantages because in Rhino you can assign materials and layers and all that stuff. Okay, so anyway, but this is the first thing. We need to create this axis, and then we have to rotate this shape about this axis. So sweep is create a path, and then rotate, move this shape along the path. Here I have to rotate this about the axis. So it's a different way to look at things. But now I think it will work. So we go to component, modeling place, roof. Now I'm going to select revolve. So first, the axis line. I only have to pick this line that I have already created. Okay. And now I click OK. Oh, and I have now I have to pick the shape. Yep. Okay. And if I click OK, it should work. Whoa. No, it doesn't work. Okay, so that works for round shapes, but it doesn't work for square shapes. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so we need if I want to do something that it's not a circle, it's not a round shape, then I have to do the sweep. But the revolve will work for, yeah, if we had something that is circular, the revolve thing will work. Okay. So now I encourage you to explore different things. Sometimes we don't explore because we don't know what we want. So this exploration, it's you can try something without knowing what you want at the end, or you can have a fixed idea of what you want and then try to find the command. Okay, both ways work, but the second option, it's more frustrating. Okay, so if we try something, okay, let's see how it works. Wow, look at this! I can do a round pyramid. No, the pyramid or whatever. A cone. I can do that. But if you are looking for something specific and you don't find the option, well, it might be frustrating because you don't waste your time until you get what you want. But anyway, so we, I think for this, the sweep option is the best. There are things that we can't do with sweep, and we need to do extrusion, and then we create the voids. And finally, if we use revolve, that works only for circular elements. But well, maybe you hadn't thought about this, and you can create something that works well with this revolve option. Okay, so anyway, this is what we are going to do. Now we have to select one of them, and we have to create the skylights. So how can we create the skylights? First, we have to, because I don't think I have skylights here. If I go to Windows, I do have skylights. Okay, so I have the skylight flat here, and this is what we're going to use. If you don't have this by default, you can go to Insert, Load Family. Here you will find Windows, and here in Windows we have the skylight flat or the skylight whatever. We have horrendous skylights, so I have selected the least ugly, I think. And then we have all the horrendous windows that we have in Revit. Okay, but anyway, select that flat skylight. The problem is that if we want to insert a skylight, we need a roof. Okay, so if we do this, look at this. It works because we have declared that this shape is a roof. Okay. So, but this is not what we want because the skylights are here, are on the top of this roof. That makes me think that we can do this by changing the shape. Okay, let's do that. I'm going to select this. I'm going to edit in place, and I'm going to select it again, and I'm going to edit sweep. So what I want, because the path is correct, I want to edit the shape. Okay, so I'm going to edit the profile, and I'm going to edit the profile so that this line is in the midpoint. But where's the midpoint? I have to select this midpoint here, and then I want to move this line up to that point, and then click this one. Okay, so you see what I have done. I want to create like a solid roof, and then on that roof, I'm going to insert the skylights. So if I do this, I click OK, and click OK, and see, yeah, this is what I wanted. I want to create a solid roof here. Okay, because now I'm going to create 4 different skylights, and I will have this. There was a nice, okay, this one. Okay, so you see that we have the roof, and here we have 4 skylights, and there's like a solid element between the skylights. Okay, so we have this solid element, which is the roof, and now we want to insert skylights there. So let's do it. Now from the top view, I select architecture window skylight. This is 36 by 36. Okay, so if we want to make it good, we have to make sure that the distance between the skylights and that edge and the skylight on the other edge, it's the same. So I think before doing this, I'm going to need like auxiliary lines. Okay, so I'm going to work with auxiliary lines. So let's go to let's set the work plane. Sometimes we can select a work plane, but sometimes we can pick the plane in which we want to work. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to pick the plane, okay? And I want to pick this plane, the roof. You see that if you hover the mouse here, this is highlighted. I don't know. Okay, so if we hover the mouse, we can select that plane, which is the tilted plane here. But I want to select this flat roof. So I'm going to select this roof here. Okay. And now with model lines, if I want to draw in this direction and in this direction, but now I want 1 foot in this and 1 foot in that. So I can use offset. Then the offset distance is 1 foot. And then I can go in this direction and I can go in that direction. So that's the starting point of the skylight. And that's the starting point of the skylight here. Okay, so you see that we have 1 foot, 1 foot. So I need 1 foot around this. And then I need the midlines there. So I can select this one, mirror, like this, and I can select this one, and then mirror. There you go. So I have created a square. And now I need this midpoint, so I can draw another line. Okay, but I need the midpoint here. So if I want a midpoint, I can move it here and here. And now draw the midpoint. Okay. And now from this one, I need another line like this. So if I want to create 1 foot, okay, so this is 1 foot. I want this to be 1 foot as well. So the central solid element. So I can have an offset of 6 inches because it's half. Okay, so it's 6 inches. And then I go this direction, that direction, and this and that. Okay, so now here I have created the shape of the skylights. So what I have to do is to adjust the size of the skylights to these squares that I have here. So let's do it. Let's go to architecture, window. We select the skylight here, and it doesn't have the right size. So what? I would select the skylight, and will it work if I align? Let me see. No, it doesn't. So apparently I have to change the size of the skylight. So I'm going to go to annotate, align. So it has this weird measurement. It's 4 feet. It's 4 feet, 0 inches, and 3 inches. And I hope that the other dimension is the same. Okay, yes, because this is a square. Okay, so now I have to go to window, skylight. I have to edit type, and the width I'm going to duplicate. Okay, because this is a 36 by 36. So I'm going to name this 4038 and 4038. And now the width is 4. And here it's 3/8. And the height is 4, 0, and 3/8. Apply, okay. And now if I do this, it works. Okay. So I think we are all set. Looking at this, yeah, I think the skylights are bigger, and the element, the solid element that we have in the middle, it's smaller. Okay, that's fine. I don't mind. We can change these green lines, and we can make them. But the important thing is that the same distance that we have from here to here, the same distance that we have here in the middle, and then so this is important. It's not the measurement itself; it's that everything is symmetrical and it's well done. Okay, so that's the important thing. And then the only thing that we have to do is to change the size of the skylight to adjust the size of the skylight to the shape that we want. Is there a different way to do this? For sure. In this case, remember that we have edited the sweep, and we have inserted the skylight directly there. What if we can't do that? We can edit the sweep, or for example, here, we can create another roof. Okay. So let's do it. Here, I'm going to go to architecture. roof. Roof. Oh, I cannot do it because I have to do it. Okay. So where is, it's not on level 15, on level 27. Okay, so on level 27, I can create a roof here. So let's go to roof. We have a basic roof. Well, this is 1 foot. Well, I'm going to create something here. It is the 1 foot. The thickness has to be 1 foot. So I can select this generic 12 inches. Okay. And now I can create a rectangle here. I click OK. And then on this 3D view, yeah, the roof is there. So we have to move this. How much? Annotate. Let me go to the south elevation. Okay, the roof is there. So I need to move this roof downwards. How much? Annotate, align from this point to aligned from this to this. It's 6 feet and 3 inches. So I select this. I move this -6 feet and 3 inches. And now the roof, it's in the right place. Okay. And then on that roof, I can insert, not insert, but the window, the skylight, and I can place it here. Okay, so in this case, I have the shape here, the extrusion, and here I have a roof, because if I want to insert a skylight, I need a roof. I cannot place, if you try, it's the same with windows. You can't place a skylight in the middle of nowhere. What happens if we place a square skylight on a round shape? Well, apparently it works. And is it a curve? No, it's not curved. No, it's straight. But well, I think Revit does a good work with this. Any questions? Okay, so now we have to do this in the real place, which is the that level here, level 64. Can we copy this on level 64? Let me try. So I can select all these, I can copy, and can I move it? Apparently I can. Okay, I can move it to level 64. And then I want to move it here. Okay, now it's in the right place, but I want to move the structural elements. So how many floors do I need? I need 2 more floors. So I'm going to select only the structure. Okay, so I'm going to select just the structural elements. with the beams. I think, there you go. Then in filter, I want to select floors, structural framing, structural columns, and beam systems. Okay, and now I copy this. Okay, sometimes it doesn't work, so we have to remove constraints. I copy this here and remove constraints and there. Well, actually, I made a mistake because here in this roof, as we can see in the pictures, we don't have the waffle, the roof or the ceiling to the last floor. The top floor is the pyramid. So I have to remove all the beams and beam systems. How can I do it? And finally, I want to remove the floor itself. And to filter floor. Oh, I didn't remove the rest of the elements here. There you go. Okay. So if we are on level 52, and if I take a camera view from here, yes, I should see. So the skylights are not shown. Why? Because we are in the structural discipline. If you go to the architectural discipline, you can see that. In visibility graphics. Okay, the roofs are not on. Now I see this. Okay, there's a gap here and I don't understand why. Probably because the distance between two levels is not the same. So the distance between this one, it's 12 and 6. And this is 12 and 6. or maybe this is the wrong one. Okay, it's 12 and 3 and 12 and 3. Okay, so I made a mistake here. So that level, we have to move it 3 inches down. So that will be 51 and 9. And then this one is 3 inches down. So it's 64 and 3. So now we have to move all these feet 3 inches down. There you go. Okay, so you have to complete all this. You have to create 4 pyramids here and all the walls with different window options. But then maybe you know how to do that with curtain walls. Maybe you don't. But well, I can show you how to do this. So this is on level, what level is that? It's level 0 or level 15? It's level 15. So on level 15, I can create curtain walls here. So I'm going to go to architecture, the most straight or so the easiest way to create curtain walls is by creating here this curtain wall. And we click here and we click there. And on the 3D view, where is the curtain wall? Edit type. Vertical grid, we have none. Sorry, what?
Mine with hidden in the visibility graphics.
Oh. Maybe. Visibility graphics. We don't have curtain panels and curtain systems and curtain wall movements. Okay, so we want to activate all this, apply, and here by default I have this curtain wall. Sometimes in Revit you have a storefront and you have random mullions and vertical and horizontal mullions. The thing is that you can do that, but we can always change this element. Okay, so we can always change this curtain wall. By the way, it has to go up to this, not to the level, but it has to be lined up with the bottom part of that beam. Okay, so this we would like to have. I mean, if this were a perfect world, we would have glasses without, and we don't have any constraint about dimensions. Unfortunately, glass has its limitations, and we can have a piece of glass without any mullions, without any structural elements, that it's bigger than 18 feet. Okay, so the maximum piece of glass that we can have, because of the properties of the material, because the material, it's if we have a bigger piece of material, it would be like 18 feet by 6. Because the biggest machine in glass manufacturing in the world has this shape. has this size. So I don't think, imagine that you are the filthiest man in the world and you have a lot of money and you don't know what to do with it. And, okay, so I want to create a piece of glass 20 by 20 feet. It's impossible. This machine doesn't exist. Maybe you can start manufacturing that machine and probably in 50 years, you will end up having this. I don't think so, because if you manufacture this 20 by 20 glass, if you will try to put it straight and it will break. Because glass itself cannot bear its own weight if it's bigger than this. Okay, so it's physics and there are limitations and we are limited in this world and we cannot do what we want. So this is the maximum and it's extremely expensive. If you want to manufacture a glass like this, 18 feet by 6, it will cost a lot. So that's why we have the horizontal and vertical mullions. So is that a limitation? Not really, because we can have nice layouts with these kind of things. Okay, so with working with the mullions and with the transients and the mullions. So by default, in this case, I have this. If I edit type, you see that here we have the vertical grid and the horizontal grid. So we have none, but here we can select. Now, let's select this one. You see that in vertical and horizontal mullions, we don't have anything. It's none. If we want vertical mullions, here we can have circular or rectangular. Circular mullions are complicated. So I will select rectangular for both, and horizontal, I would select rectangular. Okay. And then for the border, it's the edge of the curtain wall. So again, we can have glass connected to concrete. So for the, we're going to select rectangular for everything. Okay, so this is the most common mullion. Those are rectangular mullions, the things we have here. So then we apply, and you see that suddenly this is the border mullion has shown up here. Okay, but that's not enough. It's still too big because this is 20 between two columns. There is 20 feet, and I think it won't be feasible. So we have to figure out how to do it. First thing, for safety reasons, we don't have this in this building, and probably I don't know, we have our safety partners there. But unless this glass is treated, it's tempered or it's not laminated, but if it's tempered, it might work. But the first thing that we need, it's like a handrail. Okay, so we are like this, we have this double volume, we need that handrail. So the height of the handrail, it has to be like this. How much is it? It's like 3 feet or 3 feet and 3 inches, something like that. And it's always like this. So for safety issues, unless the glass is quite expensive, what we would need, it's a mullion, a horizontal mullion here. Okay, so you see that here we can have create a grid in a curtain wall or a curtain system. So here we have this, so we are going to select this curtain grid. So if we select the curtain grid and we move in this direction, if we hover the mouse here in this horizontal, we have a vertical mullion. If we hover the mouse here, we have a horizontal mullion. So if this has to be 3 feet, so now this is 3 feet. So that's the first mullion that we would need. Okay, and then this is still too big. Okay, because this distance is almost 20 feet, so it would be too big. So I don't know. You can work with no, not this one. We can work with if we want this to be in the middle. Okay, so we have this, and we want this to be here. Okay, that's fine. So now we have here a very expensive one, but now it's up to us. So, okay, so we can decide what kind of partitions we have, and again, we can be creative with this. It's not a limitation. We don't have to think of limitations. We have to think of creative opportunities because having like imagine that all this, it's like a glass element. Well, it's possible. We can do it. So we need partitions. And when we have to insert the door, we need partitions because on this glass, we can have something that it's openable. Every time we have a window or a door, we need this vertical and structure on the limits. So if you want to create the door, this is a question that everybody or all the students, when they are creating curtain walls and they want to create the access to the building, how can I create a door or a window in a curtain wall? Okay, let's do it here. So we are on level 15 and in visibility graphics, I don't have this. I don't know why. Okay, so now I have the wall here. I'm going to create another curtain wall here and there. And now on the 3D view, we have this. So if we want to create a door, we don't have this horizontal curtain. Okay, so what we need here is we create this and okay, so we need a vertical one, and then if we have a vertical one, make sure that we adjust this here. If we have a vertical one, then here we can open the door in this between these two booleans. This will be too big, okay? So don't. So you have to. We need more partitions there. But if we want to create the door here, the thing is that when we are working with curtain walls, we can select the curtain wall itself, or we can select the mullion, or we can select the material itself. Okay, so if I do this, and if I filter, you see that we have the curtain panel, we have the curtain wall grid, and the curtain wall mullions. Okay, so I need to select the curtain wall panel. So in the curtain wall panel, I have selected the panel, I have selected the glass. I can change this. If I want to create an opaque element, then you go to this system panel. By default, we have glazed, but we can have any wall here. I'm going to do something that doesn't make any sense. I'm going to create this brick wall. Okay, so you see that between these two mullions, I have created a wall. So here we can select between glazed and solid. So we have something solid. You see that here we have a panel that it's solid. It's not transparent. Okay, so again, we can create curtain walls with transparent or non-transparent elements. So again, that gives us opportunities to create something new. But one of the things that we can insert, but I think we need to insert the family. In windows or doors, I don't remember. I think it's in doors. Okay, so we have a curtain wall, a double or single glass. Okay, but those are door to curtain walls. So I'm going to select this, the double and the single, and I'm going to upload them here. And then if I select the panel, so filter, and I select only the curtain panel, here you see that we have the doors, the single and the double curtain panel door here. So I'm going to select this one. And now it has changed a little. So if we go to level 15, you see that we have a door here. Okay, so how can we create doors in curtain walls? We have to insert the family of doors. This is a double door. I could have a single door, but this is a door in a curtain wall panel. So to insert the door, we have to first load the family door curtain walls. And then we have to select the panel, not the curtain wall, not the mullion. We have to select the panels. And then with the panel, if we select different options, we can turn this into a solid element, or we can turn it into a door. So that's the way to create doors on curtain walls. Okay. So again, you have to do this and use your imagination or your creativity to create different curtain panels in these 4 elements. So we have a corner here. So you have to fill this corner with 1, 2, 3, 4 different curtain panel. So try doors, mullions, to try different things. Try solid and transparent elements. So I want you to try different things in different. So don't do one and copy this 4 times. I don't want to do that. So I want you to try 4 different things for this. Okay, so with this, the building or this part of the building will be completed. We have all the floors. We need 4 pyramids here on the roof, and we need all the gaps of the facade to be covered. Curtain walls in the first floor, and then opaque panels with windows with different shapes, different sizes in the rest of the panels.